Irritated by a few old tricks. Hey, I'm still here. There ain't much left to see, no. Well, I'm still holding on, and there ain't much left to be, no. Thought that I'd hit bottom, but I ain't there yet. You'd be surprised at how low a man can get. I watched all them dreams slip through my hands. Now I'm getting out of here.
8 minutes until showtime.
Factory that fed this town laid us off and shut down. And things ain't what they used to be. There's blood on the streets, baby. Dealers out on every block, and hookers working the truth.
7 minutes until showtime.
Hello. Hello.
Five minutes until showtime. Minutes until showtime. Three minutes until showtime. 2 minutes until showtime. One minute until showtime. Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
From grace was a sight to see. Good turn to bad, and bad turn to misery. I found out what it is and what it's not. And all I ask for sure ain't what I got, no. Well, I've been rained on real hard and put up with. Dance with the devil till I'm in this. All I got, and there ain't much left of me. I've been knocked down, dug out, and left for dead. Barely held together by a few old threads. Hey, I'm still here. There ain't much left to see, no. Well, I'm still holding on, and there ain't much left to be. No, thought that I'd hit bottom, but I ain't there yet. Would you be surprised at how low a man can get? I watched all them dreams slip through my hands.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are, back with you tonight. It's been a while, so bear with me. I've got Randy Davis here. I've got a lot of other guests in the queue. The phone lines are lit up, which is amazing. This is Neil Shelton. I want to welcome every one of y'all back to Straight Out of Mayberry. We have taken a break, which has been good because I've been able to concentrate on some of my personal stuff, and sometimes that break's needed. Also, it's let some people come to the forefront. I know I did shows for a year and a half. Randy's on here too, and he did the same thing. And he'll tell you, and Ted and Jay and everybody else that's going to be on here tonight is going to tell you the same thing, that whenever we do these shows, it affects us by hearing other people's stories and then, sharing them. And it kind of triggers what we all went through. And then plus, you feel bad for the person who went through this mess because, you can relate to it. So with that being said, it's been a good break. I'm thinking about coming back. We did some big shows. We had Dean Tong. We had Ginger Gentile, of course, Yaya McLean. We had some big shows. We did some good stuff, and like I said, I just had to take a break for a while. But Randy's here with me, the Watchman, Randy Rev It Up Davis. How are you doing, Randy?
Never better, my brother. I'm glad to be back on here. I can tell you, if you hear that crazy noise, that's my parrots, because they've returned home. During the time they were hunting myself and Cheyenne for 2.5 years, we couldn't have animals. They killed two, a dog and a cat. But the parrots are back home, and Cheyenne is safe. So now that she's safe, believe me, I'm going to kick these people's ass. I'm tired of being nice. I really am, and I am mad about what happened. But more than that, I'm just dedicated to making sure everything about these people is shown out there. So I'm going to do a show every Sunday from now on.
That's good. Bring it on. I'll help you if need be. We got Ted Fogg on here. We got several people on here. To the ones that's on here, press 1. I know Ted already has. I'll bring you on in a second. Press 1, and I'll go ahead and bring you on and we'll get this thing going. But we're going to talk more with Randy here in a little bit, especially about FERPA. And I will go ahead and bring Ted live now, and I'm going to bring one other here in just a second. Ted, are you on there as well?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Ted,
can you hear me?
Okay, Randy, you still with me?
Yeah, I'm hanging in here.
Okay, all righty. I'm having a problem. We had a problem with him before. Let me try this one. We're going to go ahead and bring 1139 on.
For some reason, they can't hear me.
Hello. Welcome to the show.
Hi, good evening. I just came across your show. I wasn't sure what your topic was about.
Family court corruption, family court reform, and I'm from Mayberry, born and raised. My ex-wife's granddaddy owned Floyd's Barber Shop, so you don't get no more Mayberry than me. So that's why the name is why it's named. But we basically fight for parents not to have to fight to see their kids, for 50-50 custody for both moms and dads, and end the cycle of this, battling through family court and damaging the kids. We're here for the kids.
Well, that's our future, and I would be happy to help in any way I can to bring more attention to your cause, because I'm a global visionary. I've had quite a bizarre life. If I can share my name, I'm also a former whistleblower, and I'm looking to root out corruption globally.
Hey, welcome to our club. Yeah, we love whistleblowers. The name of our radio network is Future of Our Children Radio, and you can find us on Facebook. And I'm Neil Shelton. My profile picture is a bunch of eagles. Find me on Facebook. Send me a message. And one of us get in touch with you, and we might do a show together or something. But that's what we focus on, is corruption. Judicial accountability movement, Brian Kenter, that's another area we deal with, and that's judicial accountability. And that's what it all comes back to, no matter what court or area you're in for, but corruption plays into it. And I've got some people scheduled to speak tonight, so stay tuned. You'll be shocked with some of the proven corruption that you'll hear. You might enjoy this, or it might make you mad, but either way, still contact me and let me know what you think, and we might can do something together.
Well, if I could just share my name while you're talking, other people can see who I am, and then I don't do anything inbound or outbound personally on the internet. I do have a Facebook page somebody controls for me, so I'll tell them to try and friend you on that, or you can friend me once you see who I am. But just put my name on YouTube or Google it. It's Hugh, H-U-G-H. Last name is Traulsen. It's spelled T like Tom, R-A-U-L-S-E-N like Nancy. And if you put my last name, Traulsen, and Trump, it will bring you to a page on a big website, which also has a Wall Street Journal article from 1983 that I was written up in. That article triggered an investigation that eventually led to the resignation of Jim Wright from Speaker of the House in Shane, the third highest office in the country. So we have to follow the money trails and plug up the pipeline and take put the spotlight where it needs to be until we can root out all of it's rampant and everything. So that's the biggest problem is the corruption.
It is. And we definitely need to do a show. I already know that right now. So, and actually, and I don't give this out, but your number comes up for my blog.
Yeah, you can call me after the show. I'm usually up till midnight.
I'll give you a call and we'll talk. And thank you so much for calling.
I'll just listen in, and I thank you very much for bringing me on. And if we can't do anything else, we can also pray, because that's another big part of what people aren't doing in the right way. And that's where the family has to really come together. And it's not about religion, but it's about spirituality. And when you open your heart up to God in the right way, anything can happen, and he'll put the ego in check where it needs to be as we progress. So I just don't want to see the planet blown to smithereens by egomaniacs, and it's time we address that.
Amen. And I am so glad you called in. Thank you very much. I'm going to leave you on here. If you hear something you want to speak up again, press 1.
Well, I'll take myself off on the 1, and I'll press the 1 again if I have something. So at least you have my number. Problem. So thank you again, and God bless everyone.
Thank you, sir. God bless you. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to bring on, we've got an anonymous, and I'm going to weed through these real quick before I've got one guest we're going to talk to in particular, and I see they're on here, so I'm going to get to this one right here. Good evening. This is an anonymous number. You're live now.
Hey, Neil. Just saying hey. Been a while since I talked to you, but I keep up with you on Facebook. Hey, Randy.
Randy's still on here.
Hey, lady. She's going through a lot right now, Neil. As a matter of fact, probably because of her case, either some kids are coming home or I'm going to jail, one or the other. But I'm tired of farting around. I'm serious. I don't care if I go to jail. I'm tired of what I'm watching this happen.
It happens every day, everywhere. And I hadn't heard your voice in a while. I'm sorry you're going through this. And stay strong. I mean, everybody endures. They try to break us. They try to break you mentally, physically, financially, any way possible. And your kids, that's the quickest way to hurt somebody. So unfortunately, the kids become the pawn. The government gets incentives to do that from Title 4D and E funding of the Social Security Act. You can look it up. They match the child support. That's what funds TSS and all that crap. So just like the gentleman said earlier, you got to chase the money. It's just like these crooked divorce lawyers. They're in it for the money too. So you got to chase the money, and anything you're looking at. And all I can tell you, this is going to be my 7th Christmas without my kids, not even a phone call. So stay strong, document everything. That's the biggest thing. Everybody reaches out to me or talk to you. You've got to document everything. Nobody will believe a story if you can't put the paperwork to it and to prove it. So hopefully things will look better for all of us. I'm hoping to see my children before long, and hopefully one day, that's something about all these organizations that we all follow and are part of. Our main objective is not to have to exist. We don't need to exist. We're not trying to push any agendas. We just don't need to exist. So that's where we stand with everything right now. But how long has your case been going on?
Oh, I'm gag order.
Okay. Well, you just called to say hey, then, didn't you?
And listen.
And listen. Well, stay with us. If you need anything, you holler. I'm going to get with Randy here and let him explain a little bit about this FERPA and move on through this a little bit, because we do have some other people on here. So, but you just stay tuned, and if you want to chime in, press 1 again. Okay.
All right, hon. Good hearing your voice again, Neil.
Good to hear you. Okay, thank you. 1391, you are live.
Yo, and yo. Mr. Shelton and Mr. Rev It Up, Randy Davis. Bud here. How are you?
What's up, Victory? I heard about that, Victory.
Yeah.
What's up, boy?
Bud Victory Vino. That's your new name, and that's what we need, is some victories to offset like our last, my store and the last lady and all these. We need some victories. So tell us what happened, Mr. Vino.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on, both of you.
Thank you.
To Future Our Children Radio Network, as people know, Far From Normal, is facilitated by Future Our Children Radio Network, and so we thank you on behalf of myself, Jay Moss, Jesse Weiner, for having us and for having me on. And we do need these victories. And I heard you, Neil, talking about 7 years, 7 Christmases, heartbroken. And this is I've had 10 years, and this is my first after 10 years with Carter this Christmas. So there is hope, folks. And I'll tell you, it's been a journey. And it's been his lifetime, really. He'll be 12 next month, and
unmuted.
But really heavy in the past 2 years, when his mother decided to take him from me, literally. And I really had no recourse. I felt helpless. And I see, since I really got into this, whatever you want to call it, movement, and I know there's other things that people call it, whatever. But I see the heartbreak 24/7 from people, and I felt, I knew in terms of just me against them, in terms of the other side, they would not outwork me. They would not outsmart me. They would not sweat me. They would not, and they would also not get to me in terms of whatever, stuff they were trying to throw. So, and with everything going on in the movement, I really felt an obligation, it was a big time, just an obsession, and it did. It went well yesterday. So people that don't know, I have joint decision making and everything with my son, and I'm going to be with him every week. And I've never ever had one holiday with my son, my oldest son, not one Father's Day, not even a phone call on any holiday his entire life. Birthdays I've tried calling, always ignored. And honestly, I tell folks out there, the biggest thing that people have going for them is when the other side underestimates you, and really, and that's what actually happens over time when you're minimized by the other side, and they really start to believe, they treat you like you're not even human, and you start to believe that you're not, and it eats away at you, and I tell you, it feels great, yes, obviously for my kids, that's in my family, but it feels good, honestly. I'm going to be very honest that other people can see it, that I could do it. So, and I've seen the comments are overwhelming in the people that have seen the video my wife and I did, and it's awesome. And the biggest thing I said to my wife tonight, because I see people all over the place saying, man, and the most people that said I have tears were the guys, if you noticed. I thought was awesome. And people that were, Andy Scoggins out there said, you know what, I'm going back and reviewing my case, and people are like, wow, it gives us hope, my wife and I, or just me as a person, and that's what it's about. You build up that momentum, and there's so many stories of defeat and horror stories and things, and there's also victories too, and we need those to inspire people.
We have to have them, and that's so awesome. And my favorite part of the video was your son's response to his brother. It was yes.
Awesome, right?
It was amazing. And the thing about it, I felt like I was right there with you. I felt like I had a victory too. And then every time we do that, we all feel the same. And that's amazing because the flips, it don't happen much, but it's happening more. We're seeing some victories. So.
Yeah, and you said that yesterday, and I appreciate you sharing it. You put that we're seeing victories, and I know that we are out there. I know, the Schwabs. There's people that are, and what it is, it's momentum. And then we start seeing people not, David knocking over Goliath more and more. And people think, wow, it is an impossible. I can tell you right now, if the folks out there, I am not even on my son's birth certificate. I had no paper visitation at all as far as they were concerned, because I was seeing my son since he was, I was trying to get his wife. She attempted to have my rights terminated. I won that case when he was 2 years old. Got him and was just, she had never done a parenting agreement with me. And I was always worried back then to even push it because she'd just be like, screw you and take him again. So I can tell folks out there, never do that. Never do. I got in the biggest jam because I trusted. And it's not necessarily that I trusted, it's that I just didn't want to believe, I guess, too, that someone would. But it made me, I had to walk on eggshells for a lot of my life because I was always worried that she'd do what she did. And
so you got bit by the silver. Did you get shot by the silver bullet too? Oh yeah.
Well, they tried that. That's the first thing. That it was the first thing was he's violent. He's they tried her. And there was not even any accusation of that, let alone any sort of issue with that ever. I mean, his was just, as I said, this attorney. This will be his last case. Believe me. As I said it too. I said to her, if you think that you're going to go in there and violate the Constitution and knowingly lie, you think I'm going to sit there? No, this is your last case. Enjoy it. Suck it up and savor it, because you are you want to be corrupt? I'm going to show you. I tell them all the time, you want to lie? I'll kill you with the truth. Yeah. But I will not allow some attorney to go in and knowingly think that just to destroy my relationship with my son and think he's going to walk out and continue practicing. No cream puff.
Amen.
I said, I don't think so.
Well, I think I've got somebody else here who will want to wish you congratulations on that. I'm bringing you on right now. Let's see here. Ladies and gentlemen from Atlanta, Georgia, Yaya McClain. Yaya.
Hey, hold on. We're going to redo that. Hold on. Ladies and gentlemen from New York City, now living in Atlanta, Georgia, raised in Las Vegas. Yaya McClain.
Two-time. Well, now I got to redo it. Two-time world champion boxer, former Marine, creator of Casualties of War Radio, Women in the Regime Radio, and documentary.
It sounds like in Rocky IV. It sounds like in Rocky IV where they're reading off Apollo's all his names, and Rocky says they're gonna whatever he says, they're gonna go on forever. He says, don't worry, it's almost finished. It's like the son of Monty Briscoe, the king of Sting. But
that's only because that's right. That's only because Yaya's so awesome. How are you doing, my friend?
Hey man, I'm doing great, man. Congratulations to you, man.
Oh, hey. Yeah. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. And
man, it's a big victory, man.
Thank you, Michael. We've never actually spoken, myself and Yaya, and I follow a lot of his stuff and his radio stuff, and also, obviously, the documentary, and a lot of respect for you guys and for you guys. So thanks. It's nice to speak to you.
Yeah, man, no doubt, man. No doubt. I appreciate it, man. We don't have to speak. We're still brothers, man. We're naturally brothers, just by the bullshit we gone through, man.
Yeah, and it feels good, man. It really does, like I said. And I honestly, I as much as I wanted this day, I really feel, honestly, like I won the championship last night, and today is kind of the day after. And I never knew how I'd feel, really, in terms of, not that I wouldn't be happy, but in terms of the overall. But honestly, one of the biggest things, I'm so honored that people are getting inspired by it. Not for me at all. It doesn't matter about what they think. It's about that for themselves, for their kids. That when they're down, maybe it'll even one person, and it's all a snowball, and it's just building that momentum and keeping people up. And just to know that's the, obviously getting my son on a personal level, but just the the ripple effect that in a positive way, that it's just humbling and awesome.
Yes, it is, man. And man, more than just the victory of being able to be with your kids. One of the things is that mental, the things that are happening to us mentally, man, and the people committing suicide and things like that.
Right.
You don't know how many lives you're saving by sharing this victory with people, man. How much hope you give people, man. This is
that's again humbling. Coming from you too, sir, and you guys. Honestly, I know a lot of the things I do on the radio, and I kind of make people. But honestly, as cocky and arrogant as I seem, I'm more self-assured. But it is amazingly humbling today. Because honestly, as much as I knew this day would come, in terms of my son and just sticking with it. Of course, we all have those points at 2 a.m. where we doubt. We wonder if everything is we're doing everything the right way. And we try and do the best we can, and you always are scared that maybe you won't get there. What if? But you do. And I just, I was sitting with Mason tonight and just looking at him, watch TV, and I was saying, I said to him, I looked at him and just randomly, and I looked at my wife. I said, "Hey, babe," and she said, "I said, day after tomorrow, Carter's going to be here." And I just, for 2 years. I mean, and I literally, and my lawyer yesterday, because I was playing, my voicemail is mainly full, but mainly because I saved all the voicemails Carter left me over the years, and I would play them. When I would be missing them so much after months and months and years, and I would just listen to them at 2 a.m, and no one knew when I was up alone and just crying, and I'd continue with the Parents United stuff and just trying to spin it and just try and do everything I could to stay positive, because I'm human too, and there were times where, man, I would miss that kid. So I know the pain, and I can't. That's why I wouldn't back out now. Like I said yesterday, even though it's quote unquote done for me in terms of that aspect of it, I mean, I would be the biggest problem in the world, and I couldn't sleep at night if I say, "Hey, man, good luck, see you, everybody." No, man, put your money where your mouth is. Now, you did it. Now I feel in a way I owe to keep it up and keep pushing, man. I'm going to keep being annoying and keep getting people out of bed and loving themselves.
Good deal. That's what we like. And I know you've been busy here lately, and I want you to just tell me what your thoughts were of the last screening of Casualties of War. My understanding that it was overflowing, but what were your thoughts on some of the responses, and where are we heading with that? And
man,
give us an update.
It is just much like his victory. It just gives reassurance, because to even me, the champ, the Marine, all this tough stuff that I'm supposed to be, I'm still a human being, and with all the defeats that I have to deal with when it comes to talking to my son or seeing my son and this whole ordeal, it even makes me, the champ, makes me wonder what's going to happen sometimes. But when I get a victory like we did in Long Island, Suffolk County, and we had a theater full of white people that came to see my film. I mean, really. I mean, let's just be real. Facts. A theater full of white people came to see this film that was made by a black man. Because you know why? Because the topic is so serious that there are no color lines, there are no genders, there are no financial. It's the corruption, and it's the parents and the children that suffer, and we all come together. That's why I told him, I said, even though we haven't spoken, we are still brothers, because we're bonded in the same struggle and in the same fight. Right. We share the same blood. We bled the same blood. And so it was. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I was going to say you said it perfectly in terms of the no more. When you're, I said before too, all color and all that bullshit goes out the window when you're dying inside. When you see another human bird, all that shit means nothing. Like I'll hold anybody that's hurting. I don't give a shit, and I don't say that for effect because I want to be the cool white guy and the other. I don't give a shit. What I'm saying is humans are human, and I have a hard time seeing a man on his knees who only wants to hold and love his kin, his child, his blood, and I can't. I'm sorry. The people, men or women, that do that to only hurt their ex or whatever, are just deplorable human beings. There's no way to sugarcoat it.
All right. That's crazy.
And so the let's get back to the screening, man, and it was a theater full of like-minded people, and they all came out because, they either, Gary and Carlos did a hell of a job promoting it. Gary and Carlos are like celebrities in their town, man. I love those guys, man. They especially Carlos, man. I say prayers out to Carlos, man. He went to court, and he's still looking at doing another 6 months in prison after spending over $500,000, fighting this case, man. So, you guys keep them whenever you think about them, keep them in your prayers, man. But those guys, they did a hell of a job promoting it, man. And the people came out to support. They were very intelligent. I mean, if you go to my Facebook page, you'll see that they articulate what's going on. They share their stories. They show the support. I mean, it was something really special to me, man. It was really excellent. And
I would try to promote one in Mayberry, but you know how popular I am there, so I think that'd be like, yeah. That'd be like Rodney King promoting a KKK rally. So you just don't need to do that.
Well,
away from that one.
It's amazing. And I see it, guys, with the casualties of war and what Yahya does and the people out there that you see the ones where they put their heart in it and you can feel it. And that's what people feel. They feel the passion, the energy, and they're drawn to it.
And that's because you pick up on Yahya's love and Yahya's realness. And that is because he is affected by the cause. So I know, like I said, I know you've been staying extra busy lately. You got your gig and all that, and I appreciate you calling in. If you want to stay with us, stay with us. But I wanted you to plug the Casualties of War because I'm very proud of that. One of the last shows that I did on this Straight Out of Mayberry, we were talking about doing actually Casualties of War. Then it's done, and when we started talking about it, I veered off and did some other things, and we had Yahya's show, which was very successful, and I think it's going to be.
Meeting you was a big blessing, man. You my brother from another mother, man.
Same here.
You know that.
Same here.
You know that, man.
Same here.
Well, listen, man. I want you guys to keep me in your prayers, man, and I'm gonna keep you guys in my prayers. Oh, and one more thing. Also, let's pray on this too, man, because December the 8th is the notification date for the Sundance Film Festival.
Mm-hmm.
I really want everybody to promote the trailer, Casualties of War, and put hashtag Sundance Film Festival for 24 hours straight. I want to do that. We're going to do that, Neil. We're going to get on the call.
All right. Set it up. You know me. We'll get it everywhere. So just set it up. Randy will help, but everybody. We got thousands of people that'll help. So let's do this seriously.
Yeah, man. Because if we get into Sundance, man, that's going to be huge.
Yeah,
that's going to be huge, man. And especially with everything going on with Tyrese and Brad Pitt and everybody else, man. Jennifer Hudson now,
and I think maybe with Tyrese and Jennifer Hudson's story that it's two different stories there. But if you want to interpret it the way I interpret it, they both got the silver bullet. And anybody out there don't know what the silver bullet technique is, Google the silver bullet technique. Some redneck's video from Fox News is going to pop up. Something about somebody. That's me. By the way, that's me. Forrest Gump. But anyway, so if you Google the silver bullet technique, yours truly will pop up. So, for what I insulted myself in a roundabout way to say is, I think that's showing that the silver bullet is backfiring. So, and I'm thinking that. Like certain, and you can't get this out of my mind. The last page reach I saw for one, let's say one organization I'm with, for example, Father's Rights Movement, 15 million people reach per post. 5 million people engaged on average post, but I mean, it's 200 and some thousand members, but every time a member shares something, it goes to their friends and so on and so forth. So what we need to do with Yahya's is get it out there and everybody share it, because every time you share it, all your friends get it. And like Bud said earlier, and like Randy will agree, and even Ted and myself, that helps us to keep annoying people. Because if we have to annoy people with the truth to wake them up, then so be it. I'd rather annoy them with the truth than them get hit in the face with reality. So at least they can kind of brace themselves for what's coming. So,
I want to
yeah. No, yeah.
I just want to say goodbye to Yaya because I knew he was going to be leaving. And thank you, brother. I'm going to be in touch tonight. If you don't mind, I'll leave you a message and we can touch base at some point for some stuff I got plans for in the future.
Hey,
I know you're busy. And I'll push your stuff, man. And much love and thank you. And I want to say before he goes, because you guys mentioned the silver bullet and this and that, that's why I feel it incumbent upon me to make sure my son's mother's attorney pays for his attempted lies about me. I feel like I have to, I've got the opportunity now. You drop a couple of these corrupt lawyers, and you're going to, hopefully they'll see, okay, well, my colleague that was next to me is no longer here because he bullshit. Yeah, you start knocking a few of these scumbags down, you might see a lesson a little bit. Much love, brother. Thank you.
Hey, well, Vino, I appreciate you, man. Neil, I appreciate you, man. And
yes, sir, brother.
Hey, like I always say, man, keep your hands up and stay on your feet. See you
That's
guys
right.
brother.
All right, man. Talk soon.
Brother.
All right.
All righty. We got one more I'm bringing on here. The last digits is 777-777. Getting ready to bring you on live here.
Moss. This is Jay Moss. How are you doing?
Yes.
Okay.
The party can start.
We have been Randy. Where's Randy at? We've been invaded by Far From Normal. What the heck is going on here?
I don't know. These crazy people. You can't trust these people.
All right. Well.
They're all nuts.
All right, we'll reel it back in now. Jay Moss, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing fantastic. I just got over with a visit with my kids, and I'm reeling because I'm so happy. I'm beaming from ear to ear for Bud Vino and what he's got going on. And I'll tell you what, I got a few tricks in the bag come tomorrow for my case.
Yes.
What they don't know is that I've been given a pro bono attorney that represents the veterans.
Yep.
So the cat is now out of the bag because I have signed on with this guy, and let me tell you something, I've never felt better in my entire life. This guy says he's like, I have no idea what you have been through. I can't even imagine it. I know that this attorney, his son, unfortunately passed away. Nick Murphy passed away. He was a soldier, a sailor within the Army, within the Navy. And unfortunately, we lost him. And because of this, though, this pro bono attorney has taken my case on because he's opened a foundation to help veterans specifically going through these types of issues within these two counties here in Illinois. And I couldn't be happier because I finally found an attorney who cares enough to jump in with both feet and get things corrected the right way. And this actually told me he's going to go all the way back in my case to 2013 when I was supposedly supposed to pay amount based on imputed income along with my VA disability. So this is going to be major. It's a major step. And the funny thing was when my wife dropped off the kids tonight, she drove up in a brand new Chevy Equinox. Well, she's going to get a rude awakening come tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
She pulls up and just say, I like that color. She's like, why? I'm like, there's no reason. I'm just going to think that when I own it in the future.
That is
well,
awesome.
I was hoping for pinstripes on that color, but hey.
Yeah. Well,
whatever.
Real quick, guys, I want to say, people that don't know, Jay Moss is one of my co-hosts so Far From Home. I love the man. We've been doing the show for about a year, and I'm so happy for Jay. This is someone who I've talked to excuse my French, countless hours overnight, and this is someone who's all heart. And this day we knew would come. As people, good things happen when you just stick it out. And the hardest thing is you're tested, throughout life. You're tested, you're pressured. you're tested constantly, and Jay's coming out, and he's found something. I couldn't be happier, and no one deserves it more than my man Jay Money Moss. I'll tell you that
That's
right now.
Right. That's right. Yeah, and I want to say something about y'all's show, and Randy can chime in too, because me and Randy actually, the day we had been on another program, and we don't throw mud much. So unless it's politicians, lawyers, or judges. So let's get that straight. So anyway, but we were on another program, and we didn't like the format of it simply because it leaned heavily towards men, and they, bashed women a little bit. Some of their views were out there, and that's it. So we just didn't like it. So I said, we're going to start our own, and I sat there and I called Randy and Brian Kenter, and I said, listen, we're going to do this thing so we can do our own thing and let other people do what they want to do. What should we call it? And that's when we came up with Future of Our Children Radio Network. And so it was me and then Randy and Brian Kenter and Dominic Tomasello, who's no longer with us. And then, y'all joined with us. And ladies and gentlemen, Far From Normal Radio, their show that we're talking about, they were named in one of the last Huffington Post articles, which is kind of unheard of too. So that's great. I mean, it's amazing. Our voices are reaching further and further, and what Jay's got going on could affect a lot of veterans. Yeah, could affect a lot of people positively. What everybody's got going on can affect a lot of people positively. And Randy, I want to segue into that a little bit. A lot of people don't know, and I'll talk about Randy, and then at the end we're going to talk about my situation. But keep in mind, so I'll go ahead and throw this out there for the trolls. I thought about letting you stay on here till the last 5 minutes or so, but I'm not stupid. So there is a lawsuit in place. I am, suing who I'm suing. I will talk about certain issues of my lawsuit, but if you're on here trolling me thinking I'm going to give you something or say something to cross any lines, you might as well hang up right now. I only look and sound stupid. I actually function pretty well. So, but a lot of people don't know about FERPA. And we've got the king of FERPA tonight. We've got the only man who's ever won a FERPA case. And you don't know what that is, but you will here in a minute, because Randy's going to chime in and tell you all about it. So, Randy, tell us about FERPA.
Well, FERPA is it's the Federal Education Rights Protection Act, and it's really about family. And the people that you go through are not only the Department of Education in order to do this, but you also go through through the Office of Civil Rights. And you go through what's called the Family Compliance Office. And whenever you go through these guys, everybody was looking at me and they're like, why are you dealing with FERPA? What does that have to do with anything? Well, FERPA, it protects any student from ever having their records given out to anyone. And it's a federal law. But what it also does is it protects the parent, and it protects the parent in the right to have the records of their child. So not many people really knew what it was about. Nobody really promotes it anywhere, and nobody tells why that's important. Well, let me tell you why it's important, and I'll also tell you I've never seen anything in this movement that's guaranteed. And, as a stockbroker, that was one of the things in ethics you had to sign on. And I was a broker, FBI background check, pass Series 7 examination. You have to do everything. And in there, you never use the word guarantee. But I am telling you, if you have your rights intact, it is a guaranteed situation that you will get those records, and you will put either family court or the divorce partner on the other side, because what I'm seeing in this, even in the anonymous caller that called earlier, there's issues there, and I helped write the letter that went into the Board of Education. I helped a certain other young lady who has a case in Wake County where they hate me right now. Write one for Wake County, and just to explain it simply, when they refuse to give you your records at the school, you immediately, that day, go to the Board of Education in your county. You file a grievance. They'll say they don't have a form. A lot of times, believe it or not, the people will say, I don't know what FERPA is. And they don't know what FERPA is. Well, they will. But you file the grievance. At that time, and anybody who wants to know exactly how to write it, I can help you with it. But you write this FERPA complaint to them. They have 45 days as a school board to either hold a hearing or give you access to those records. And the key is you must only ask for access to the cumulative file. You can't ask for copies of the record. You ask for access. The law is written, and here's the way the law is written. It's written, and the first words are, no funds shall issue. In other words, if any of this is violated, even in one case, and that's what the local newspaper printed up this year, because it took me 2.5 years to get the win, but you'll see it. Andy Davidson got his records, and within 30 days, he had his child back because of those records. And what most don't understand is that DSS or family court, everything that goes on there regarding the child, it also has to wrap around and include education. And in those records, I can tell you, home safety assessments we have found that DSS would not give, criminal records, but it will have records in there of every single thing that has transpired in the child's life since birth. And if you have not had your federal right as a parent, your constitutional rights terminated, it will 100% work. They tried to use, and this was several attorneys here in North Carolina, Cumberland County, and they tried everything that they could in order to stop him. However, Dr. Frank Teal, he was the superintendent. Well, 1 month after the newspaper had written Cumberland County Schools found in violation of federal law, now risk losing all federal funding. Now, everybody talks about cutting off the federal funding. But when that thing hit, guess what? A month later, Dr. Teal, who's a superintendent now, he makes $271,000 a year. 271 G's. Well, they had a board meeting, and they had a closed session. Nobody knows, because nobody would say why he left. But they paid out his next 1 year, last year, at $271,000, and he hit the road. Well, last month, and I'll just say this, I'll just go ahead and put her name out there, Melissa McDonald. And why did FERPA matter there? We're still trying to get some records, and I'm assisting her in that, out of Wake County. Wake County, North Carolina is where Raleigh is, the capital of North Carolina, where everything happens. Well, even there, they have no idea. So they actually did a couple of things, and everything's already been filed there. But when the FERPA filed, we were just messing around the other day. She came running in, and she said, oh, my, look at this. And boom, right there on Facebook, it was posted from Channel 11, the local news. It was on every news. But Wake County has numerous, because they're so massive, they have numerous superintendents because they have so many school districts within the one county. Well, what are the odds that Dr. Merrill, the man mentioned in the FERPA complaint, he has also mysteriously now decided to leave the building. He left his high-paying job as superintendent, and he is now gone. Well, this matters, guys, for a lot of reasons. And I know those that are hurting and you can't see your kids, one of the things in this, not only along with FERPA, but in it are your IDEA, your 504, which are learning difficulties, your ADA. You'll have IEP meetings and BIP meetings, which are individual education plans, and your behavioral plan for the kids that have any sort of learning difficulty. Those are federal as well. And to give you an idea of how strong this is, when Melissa McDonald and I had attended a meeting at a school where we're going to. In walks a GAL, or in the line, and a social worker. I had no idea who either one of them was. And they walked in front of us before the meeting, and we're trying to get into the meeting, and our son was in the meeting. And the social worker looks at me and mouths off something, and all of a sudden the guardian ad litem tells me to talk to the hand. I'm like, talk to the hand? What you mean talk to the hand? And I said, I don't know what it is that you think you can do here, but I'm going to go in that meeting. And it's her right, Melissa McDonald's right, to go in there with her son. And they said, no, you can't go in there. So they called the Raleigh police. The Raleigh police come. Well, what is it you want, sir? I said, I want somebody to either say this on the record so I can document it for a lawsuit or put it in writing. Well, they wouldn't. So they tell the mother, well, we're not having a meeting. And we just leave. Well, 2 weeks later, after we had contacted my contacts with FERPA, she gets a letter, and lo and behold, we get to go to the meeting, and they have to sit across the table from us. The same people that told me to talk to the hand had to sit across the table, and unless Melissa McDonald, as the mother of the child, unless she signed paperwork granting them permission to be at the meeting, these officials from the state couldn't be at the meeting. That's how important FERPA, IEP, BIC, 504s, that's how critical and important. And Connie Regularly just shared a post of a case from the Department of Justice. And that Department of Justice ruling was on a case in Massachusetts. And that particular one had to do with 504 ADA, and the parents won. Well, guess what? Once our case with FERPA was over, I guess it was about 6 weeks ago, I received a certified letter from the United States Department of Justice, Jeff Sessions' office. And the Department of Education and FERPA had forwarded all of my evidence and everything I had sent them. They had forwarded it over to the DOJ. The DOJ had looked at it, and the letter read that, yes, we have looked after extensive review of your evidence. We note that your civil rights were violated in regards to education. However, we also note that your civil rights were violated due to race, and that's because we're Croatan Indian. Well, they have now forwarded that up to the Office of Inspector General, the Department of Education Office of Civil Rights, and the Attorneys General. So right now, they're being hammered in North Carolina. They are having their rear ends handed to them. And this is how, you see, what usually happens, guys, is you're so busy trying to defend yourself or trying to get out of the shame of having DSS or a court or a judge be able to say that you don't get to be a dad. You somehow are less than you were today before they came in your life. You somehow are not deserving. We're so busy fighting off that we don't fire anything back toward them. But unless you are going on the offense and you are firing things back at them, you cannot win. You must be able to hold your own ground. You cannot trust these court-appointed attorneys. And I'm just seeing that anybody who thinks that you can sign your way out of this, by the way, we did win our case. We won our CPS case. Cheyenne Davis is loose and out of the county, so I can do as I want to now and not worry about the local sheriff, Jimmy Thornton, who his ass is going to get handed to him. But the thing is that once you do battle, I'm going to warn you, once you press that and once you do battle, it's going to get worse. And if you don't have the guts for worse, and you don't have if you're going to weaken, if you're going to back up, if any way you're going to withdraw from battle, they will slay you. So you're better off to surrender if you don't have the guts to go all the way. But in my mind, there was nothing on earth more important than my daughter, Cheyenne Davis. I would have done anything in order to protect her, and I did. Just like Neil, I didn't I spent about half the time in jail that he did, but 5 months in jail, for those of you who don't know, on a secret order. A secret order. And then nothing exists. 5 straight months. Eight different criminal charges altogether. 3 arrests. Obstruction of justice charges. Cheyenne was on the walls of every Walmart with the FBI missing and exploited children's case they put illegally. And
my favorite
favorite
picture is Cheyenne standing in front of a Walmart billboard pointing at her wanted poster. I loved it. That's nuts. And it'd been there forever.
She loved it. She would walk into a Walmart, because I'm telling you guys, you got to have some fun with this thing too, because it'll drive you crazy. But we would be at Walmart, and she would run over to the thing, and then she would call a manager and start acting all wacky and say, "Hey, that's me up there." And they'd look like, "Yeah, right." And they're like, "Oh shit, it is you." And they would freak out. And they're like, what do we do? And she said, "Call the FBI." And they would call the FBI. And the FBI would say, "Take it down and give her picture." She does this everywhere.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. We got a caller. I'm going to try this caller real quick, and then we'll get right back into the conversation. We're going to segue into something else real quick. 9401, you are live. Hello? Hello, you are live.
Hello. I'd like to speak to Neil Shelton, please. Is Neil Shelton around?
This is he.
Well, Neil, I think I figured out why you quit talking to me. I don't have a southern drawl, so here. What's going on, brother?
Sorry about that. My voice that cut off on me a second. Not much. How are you doing?
Do you have any idea who this might be?
No, I don't.
Well, you will now. Christopher Bruce, America's Deadly Sins. How you doing, buddy?
Wow, how you doing, Chris? Yes, I haven't heard your voice in a long time. How's things going?
Well, I'm doing all right. Just happened to be buzzing through my posts, and I saw you hanging around. I just wanted to say hi and see how you're doing.
Oh, I'm glad you did. You're doing fine. Just first time back on the air, probably in about a year or more. So I've been kind of laying low on all the whole thing. So this is.
Well, don't feel bad, because I spent a year in jail, and it's been a while since I've been on the air, and I just got back on a little while ago. So there you go. Catch up with me. I got a new account. As you'll see, my
profile is a bunch of eagles. So catch up with me, and we'll get together and do something together.
Oh, absolutely.
All right.
I just wanted to real quick. I wanted to tell you I've got a show on tomorrow. It's going to be about. I'm hoping it'll be about arresting these people. It says if you can't beat them, arrest them. Look for
there
it.
you go. Yeah, sounds good. All right, brother. We'll get in touch with you. We'll do something. We'll do something
I
together.
Sure will, Neil. You take care now, all right?
Good hearing from you.
All right, man.
Thank you.
Talk.
Okay, so Randy got a letter saying from a federal institution saying they violated his civil rights. Cha-ching! I mean, seriously. And not only that whole FERPA thing, it's not about the education records. That's important. But like it says, it shows you any problems they might have been having in school, any family problems, home inspection, all that. If you didn't catch that, your eyes are shut and your ears are closed, because you cannot miss stuff like that. This is important. Everybody needs to go get their FERPA stuff. And if you can't get it, hey, there's something else they did to you. So it is what it is. The spin-off to that, I'll spin real quick to that. They arrested Philly Slim for going to his kid's school to get his school records, the kid's school records, without a restraining order, without his rights being terminated, anything. He went to his school just to request his kid's school records, and they arrested him. So that's one thing we need to all follow on. And then I want to ask Bud and Jay about this. Tell me about Jesse's husband, Wiener. What in the heck? Y'all there, Bud?
Yeah. I'm Jay's here.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, Jay and Bud. Okay. What happened? What happened with Jesse's husband? The Jesse Wiener, y'all's co-host Jesse?
Yes.
Well,
I can tell you.
We're not gonna, we're not going to get too much into it. I'll let just
no. Just the top of the cake.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. Go ahead, Jay.
Oh yeah, I was gonna. I think that the premise behind everything is Tim was thrown in jail for liking a Facebook post.
Boom. That's all I wanted you to say.
That's pretty ridiculous, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yes. Randy, did you hear that?
I did,
don't be like,
and I'm seeing it
stuff.
here. I'm seeing it today. Let me tell you about today, guys. I get a call from one guy. He's in Maine. This guy's been arrested while he's at his hearing on CPS. And the reason they did it, they charged him. And look, I'm like, well, how did you bond out? He's like, I'm not bonded out. I was like, what do you mean you're not bonded out? How are you talking to me? He said, I'm in the cop car right now on my cell phone. I'm like, oh, God. He said, he's going through this, and I'm trying to call his wife. I don't know what to do. And the reason why, he sent emails. There were no threats in this. They charged him literally, and I talked to him again just a few minutes ago from jail, with terrorizing and harassing. And there was no warrant. The cop in the car, I said, ask the cop, where's the paperwork? He says, where's the paperwork? He said, we can do warrantless arrests here. You don't get any paperwork. I'm like, what the hell? And then the cop said, who is that? And he had to go. He had to hang up. And then I get another call from Jeanette down in Missouri. She's not even a part of her son's case. He was stealing cars, everything else, because he tore out of the foster group home. And then she's been gag ordered. Can't say a word. The anonymous caller that just called, she is gag ordered. Can't be on Facebook. Can't do anything. She can't even tell her doctor or her therapist what's going on in the case. She cannot communicate with anybody. She cannot have any role in any communication with anybody. And her son, who's the father, cannot cut his hair. Now, what in the hell is going on? I don't know. But that, along with everything I'm seeing in local cases, I go with Melissa the other day to the school to pick up those records, and lo and behold, there's a quote-unquote flag in there. Why is there a flag? Nobody will say. But the flag is to call police immediately if she shows up at school. So we had to get out of there just like Philly Slim. But everything was already filed with FERPA. So now they're kissing up a little bit. And it's gonna get way worse around here. Lee County, Sampson County, Cumberland County, Onslow County. It's gotten out of hand, and the reason why is the reason nobody's ever seen these things before and going to jail for a damn Facebook like is because nobody's ever pressed before. And once you press, they have very, very limited tools in their toolbox, guys.
Well,
and like I was saying earlier, once you raise your head and you start doing things, you've got to have a plan in place in order to do it. And just to make that a little simpler, a judge in a memorandum judgment returned Cheyenne after only 2 months of this. But our case went on 3 years. Why? Because even though it was reduced to writing, signed, it had affirmative duty to return her, which is really good in my lawsuit because affirmative duty to do something means the judge has said if you don't, you're getting sued. That's what affirmative duty means in an order. And the DSS said, we don't care. We don't need a judge. Oh, really? So later on, I get phones pinged, arrested, everything. It should be a good case. But when you press hard, you're going to get weird things because these guys are not smart. They're hiring the bottom of the barrel for their lower-level social workers. These are people who meet the minimum criteria, if anything at all. And then once they're in there, they're basically going to do as they're told or they have to go. So you have supervisors and other people within the court, and then most of them, just like Anonymous who called earlier, look, it's not only a DSS case, it's been 3 wins for Anonymous who called in. 3 times they won in custody court. There's 50 big orders right now that the children, 2 twin girls, be at that particular house with her. And instead they've moved them into one where the one guy has 8 assaults on a female, assault on a child less than 12. Okay? How in the hell do you justify these things? And overriding another order, because they had to redo where they lost the last CPS case. And that money means it will be clawed back. Now, here's the bigger one, and I'm going to break this news right here, Neil. Because we all talk about the Title IV, Title IV-D, Title IV-E. That education money is huge, too, and that's what's at stake with the FERPA. But here is the whopper. Wake County DSS, WCHS, which is Wake County Human Services, here's where you have to look around the edges. And I always tell people, you truly can't win in court. You have to win around the edges, use the leverage, and then it gets handled in court. But Wake County, on this one particular young man, he's 15 years old. He's the young man in question with the records. And they've had him now 40 months. 40 months. They don't allow anything. He doesn't even talk to... Melissa has custody, joint custody of her other 3 kids. So he can't even talk to them. He hasn't been able to talk to them but ever in the 40 months. And he visited with them twice in there. They abandoned all rules. And more importantly, though, would you imagine, DSS always goes after the disability money. But can you imagine that a social worker herself did the paperwork, put herself down as guardian, put her address down, and used her own Social Security number by lying on a federal form to apply for Social Security disability? Now, that's pretty damn amazing. Well, snooping around, we found this, raised the issue. Now she doesn't get to talk anymore, but what's more interesting than that is the Social Security Fraud Division who called. And in those calls, and, I know she's online right now, Neil, is 0762 is the last 4. She has some things she wants to tell people, but that fraud inspector made it clear that in Wake County and several other counties in North Carolina, and this is a federal hotline, that not to worry because there are agents who are staged and planted, and they're acting as social workers in order to catch Social Security fraud. So that whole mess of Title IV, everything, you can kind of, it's Title IV, but it's really about Social Security fraud. Nobody on earth is going to understand Social Security fraud, whether they're young, whether they're older people. They won't like a county and a state agency violating laws and ethics in order to get their Social Security money that may not be any left when they get there anyway. And especially things like this. And these are the things you have to find in order to bring, because there is no fixing this system, folks. There is no fixing it. It's got to be abolished.
Yeah, it's not
right.
Broken.
It works perfect.
It's fine. Yeah, it's working great. So, but yeah, it's nuts, and all that's some valuable information. Melissa's on here with us too. So, go ahead, Melissa.
I just can't believe the. Can you hear me now?
We can.
Okay, you just wouldn't believe the extent they will go to separate a family and break the bond between a mother and a child.
I have an idea, but yeah. I mean, They don't have a heart. This is not the best interest of any child. This is the best interest of a wallet. This is the best interest of the court dockets. This is the best interest of the lawyers. This is the best interest of the GALs and the doctors and the psychiatrists and the sociologists and on and on and on and on that get paid by tearing your life apart, removing your children, and putting your life into basically miserable, hell on earth. So yeah, and they don't stop. So I feel for you.
This is I'm sorry.
And here's the thing.
I just wanted to quickly say, I believe it was Randy talking about when you go into this, and he's completely right. You have to go into it and be prepared. You're going to bleed. You're going to be not what he said about being fearless and being prepared. He couldn't be more right. And also, as I say too, and Jay can let you know too, as I always say, don't try to convey. As I said, when they try to lie about you, tell the truth about them, and don't be afraid of it. And you've got to be prepared to basically, I said this before, get naked, meaning they're going to strip you down. They're going to make things up. They're going to do everything they can do to break you. That's the game. And you've got to be mentally stronger than that. And there's going to be times when you have ebbs and flows. You feel weak one day and strong. It's just sticking it out and going after it.
Muhammad Ali said the one who wins is the one who is prepared to suffer the most. That came from Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, and I knew that they couldn't outlast me. And I knew I wasn't. I was going to go in and not worry about it. And that was, they were talking about too about like Facebook and things. They had brought that up I did mine so safe for about a year, and they brought up Facebook. And I said, Your Honor, I'm glad that they brought up Facebook, Your Honor. I said, because I think, Your Honor, even you could be helped by Parents United. I said, I implore you, Your Honor, to go on there and get empowered. And I said, Your Honor, if you like, I can give you all my passwords and you can go in with me. We can do this together. And they never brought it up again.
Yeah, Facebook saved my life. I don't have a problem saying that. Facebook, if it weren't for Facebook, I was homeless living in a 10,000 square foot abandoned garage. Everybody I knew thought I was a Boston Bombers. Nobody had talked to me. I'd be dead if it weren't for Facebook and all these groups. So when they bring up Facebook, you darn right, I'm proud about it. And when I started my Growing Up Mayberry page, it was simply because I thought if I put all this bad crap that they did to me online where everybody saw it, can see it, maybe they'll quit doing it. And they slowed down. They slowed down.
Well, you know what it is? When liars lie, they're in fear instantly. They're in fear of being exposed. So you don't go again. You don't try to convince that someone's an asshole. You got to convey what they did to make them an asshole. This person's this silver bullet shit. This is what they did, and if people don't like it, they should have behaved better.
That's right. And Melissa's story's a nightmare too, and that's why I'm so glad she called in too, to have a woman's voice as well, because I've said it from the beginning. This is not a man's problem or a woman's problem. This is a money problem. You know, and this is something that we got to fix. So and Randy's
suffering.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The children are paying the bills, and Randy's been helping Melissa and countless others. And like Bud said a little bit ago, he's not going to quit just because he has his victory. Randy's fight's over. He don't have a dog in this battle anymore, and he's out there fighting every week for people he really don't even know. And there's another little battle going on too up in Surrey County, I believe, that Randy might be helping with a little bit. But we'll talk about that here in just a few minutes. But what I'm saying here and what Bud said is they underestimated us giving up, and none of us gave up. We're all still here. We have lost a lot of battles, but we're starting to win some victories. We've lost a lot of people. We lost Dominic, and that was somebody I talked to twice a day, and that messed me up. And I know of 6 others we've lost, and it's stories like ours, and people like us willing to speak up and come out that maybe will open the public's eyes a little bit. But and the biggest thing about everything we're saying here tonight is unnecessary. Everything we said tonight shouldn't have to be said. We should all be out playing with our kids or living a normal life. What do normal people talk about? I mean, honestly, what do normal people talk about now? Because
Jay and I don't know because we're far from normal. So go ahead.
There you go. Yeah. So I mean, you eat, sleep, and breathe this. You really do, and people don't understand it engulfs your life. And I'm thankful for all of y'all, and especially coming on tonight. And Melissa, so what's your next? Oh yeah, it's great. And Jay, you've got that lawsuit going, and you did that prose, and now you got I see a lot of positives. I've had lawyers contact me on my case, and I'm kind of on the border with it, and I don't know. With my situation, I think it would be furthering the cycle, but my situation is different. Now, if I was Jay, I'd be jumping up and down getting a pro bono attorney. That's like the best news ever.
Yeah. Well, Jay, if I can say, Jay is definitely someone you will not outlast Jay. So Jay's going to win this. There's not an attorney out there that hates him. You don't hate Jay enough. He's going to win this. He won't allow it.
Okay, well, what does a pro-rated attorney cost for a year, 4 appearances, and probably 300 pages of paperwork? Wouldn't you 40, 50 grand?
Yeah.
The last lawsuit I filed, they had to at least spend 40 or 50 grand a person. That's 4 people. I spent $240.
Right.
It lasted a year, and then I dismissed it, and now it's back. So they're getting ready to spend another 50 just to lose, because this time I'm coming to win. They have nowhere to go. But what I'm saying is Prose. Bud said Prose. Randy's doing his stuff for himself. Jay started at Prose, which he would not have got a lawyer to pick it up had he not made those first steps.
Right,
so everything's coming together, and believe it or not, this group and our extended group is bringing some change. So, and Melissa, I'm sorry, we didn't mean to run all over you. Go ahead and say what you want to say, hon. Then we're going to lead into what I got going on a little bit.
I understand about the retaliation. You know, as soon as Randy's FERPA article hit in Fayetteville Observer, I was picked up the next day for 3 felony charges.
Yep.
And
Ain't it
I
funny
was looking at 8.5 years. Yeah, it's a real big coincidence. And
it disappeared now, though.
Yeah, praise God, it's disappeared. And you know, so you just got to keep fighting, and you got to be prepared for the worst, because they're going to come at you. But you know, our children are worth it, and that's the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
And you know, talking about Facebook, they drilled me for about 10 minutes in court on what does "rev it up" mean. They wanted to know the meaning of "rev it up."
I would have said,
I'd
have said, bend over and I'll show you. I'll bend over and I'll show you.
I love it.
That's the correct textbook answer. So anytime you're asked that from now on, you got to say that. So.
Yeah, that's what it means. Rev it up means you're going to lose. That's what it means.
Yeah.
Oh my
God. You're going to lose.
Yeah.
But yeah, they did. They drilled me on what the meaning of "rev it up," and told me that they had seen the video, that my son had seen the video of me coming out of the courthouse, and Randy saying "rev it up," and that I was smiling. And how could I be smiling when they had placed my son up for adoption? And
they have no,
you know, they're not going to destroy me.
Nope,
and then I
keep smiling.
Absolutely. And then lo and behold, the night before my TPR hearing, they canceled it. So I'm still in this fight with everything I've got, and I'm pro se now too.
Yeah, you'll be fine. Everything's coming along, going good. I see just lots of stuff. So, well, let's switch it up a little bit. Let's give my trolls a little something to chew on, I reckon. Let's see what we've got here. We'll switch into mine a little bit. Randy's helping me. Y'all don't know. The ones that don't know, I'll back it up a little bit. I filed a lawsuit 2015 against my then ex-wife, Sarah Stevens, state representative, Speaker of the House, pro tempore for the House of North Carolina Representative Sarah Stevens, Zachary Brennell, and Stevens and Brennell Law Firm. I appeared against, it was either 2 or 3 motions to dismiss. All pros. They wrote the lawsuit, filed it, represented myself. 3 appearances for motions to dismiss, 1 every time, against the prorated attorneys. Some of the lawsuit was kicked out, which we're going to review that, and in the long run it'll all work out. But the remaining things that I could sue for was malicious prosecution, the punitive damages, and then conversion for my now ex-wife. Now, one of the things I kind of don't know how this is even possible, but one of the things I was suing for was fraud. Okay, well, they dismissed the fraud, but they let the malicious prosecution go. Now there is no human, logical, any kind of way possible that you can have malicious prosecution without some form of fraud. That question needs to be readdressed. I'd like an answer on that, and when I will get it readdressed. So anyway, I then filed a motion, actually a voluntary dismissal, where I dismissed. They gave me a year to refile it. We refiled the lawsuit. I was very fortunate to have a lady from California come along and help me crunch it in the way that nobody ever has. And my story's been vetted. Fox News 9 months to vet my story. Because just like they said, this is like trying to say a Martian landed, put you in their spaceship, and took you to outer space. That's what they compare my story to when we talk. And other people's vetted it, but we never knew all the connections. My case was evidently strong enough to win 3 times last time, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Bad news for the other side is I do now. Don't take me as being cocky, but there's really no way to shake it. And I'll touch on some highlights. So the ones that you don't know this. I spent 281 days in jail, in a jail cell with a guy that actually killed my best friend. For what's been proven that my ex-wife, state representative, divorce attorney, and her nephew/law partner, Zachary Smith Brindle, did. That's State Representative Sarah Stevens of North Carolina. Phil Berger Jr. was running for Congress at the time. His father is Phil Berger Sr., Speaker of the Senate for the state of North Carolina. He was the DA in the case. Every time he showed up, he said that I needed to be held in jail because the FBI was involved. Right after time ran out for me to appeal my divorce decision and other things, and we didn't know the other things, but now we do. There's some other things. They dismissed that and let me out of jail. And on the dismissal sheet, it says the FBI was involved. Well, guess what? We've got the Freedom of Information Act from the FBI. They were never involved. So I was held in jail for 281 days illegally to lose everything. My divorce, the first part of my story, is more bizarre than that. I'm not going to spend all night talking about it. I got archive shows. If you want to listen to it, go look up Growing Up Mayberry and have at it. Get you some popcorn and a peanut butter jelly sandwich or whatever, because it'll take you a while to figure it out. But what I want to talk about, what we've been able to prove, and it's kind of a twist here, and I didn't realize it. The silver bullet technique. If you notice, we brought that up in about everything. Even Melissa had the silver bullet technique. Everybody. Gaslighting, silver bullet technique, gang stalking, all these terms. But with the silver bullet technique, I see things happening now positively. When I was in the midst of it, man, I didn't ever think I was going to get out of it. I had a restraining order on me for 4 years. 4 years for a restraining order before I finally heard a judge say this restraining order should have never been issued, much less continued 3 times. Well, even though he said that, that didn't take away from the fact the 281 days I spent in jail because the letter that they said that I wrote, which indeed the lawyer wrote, was a violation of the restraining order. They didn't take, that don't matter. The other 4 arrests for violating the restraining order, all not guilty, didn't matter. The 3 arrests in 1 day when she first kicked me out, that didn't matter. None of this matters, but the restraining order, so it stayed in place. Didn't matter that it kept getting not guilty. It stayed in place. So my biggest thing is one of their biggest arguments in the last lawsuit was statute of limitations. Well, unfortunately for them, and you can probably look at the lawsuit and the way it's laid out and see that it could use some editing, grammar, spelling, or whatnot. But the statute of limitations are fully intact. That statute of limitations, I was basing them on when I was released from jail, and that's wrong. That would have been January 30th, 2014. That statute of limitations start the day that restraining order was dismissed, and that the minute that judge said it never should have been placed to begin with. So good luck with arguing your statute of limitations. A lot of these comments, I haven't talked to the Mount Airy News. They did 4 articles on the first lawsuit. I really could care less talk to them. But I have seen where my wife has made statements saying that there was always a reason for the restraining order. She signed affidavits to that. There was always a reason for the restraining order. This was after she was in the same courtroom with the same judge when she heard the same words. There was never a reason for it. She also signed an affidavit saying that she was never coached, or that Sarah Stevens and Zach Brennell never assisted any of the rest. That's also proven false because Zach Brennell actually went with her to get me arrested. And then 30 minutes later was mysteriously filing motions for me to submit paperwork knowing that I would be arrested. So my case, like I said, you're more welcome to go back and listen to the archived episode. You'll get the gist of it. And that's just some of the important updates because, like I said, I wanted to do a victory show tonight. And I want to throw this out there, too. No matter if I lose, no matter what, one day my kids are going to know how hard I fought for them and everything I did to see them. And this is just further documentation of it. So if I lose in court, I've already won. If I lose in court, I've already inspired countless other people. Me and Randy and Bud and Jay and Ted and everybody combined, we're inspiring people to tell their stories. If I were to lose in court, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't care because I have already won. The friendships that I have, the community that I have, the things that I've been able to accomplish, you can't put money on it. Don't take those words and twist them because I'm going to win. We're coming. You ain't got nowhere to go. The restraining order was your silver bullet technique, and the restraining order is what's going to be able to take the lawyers down. And I think that's poetic justice. And I also think that if I am the poster child for the silver bullet technique, then they need to be the poster child for the damage and for what happens to you if you try to do that. And maybe some stuff will slow down and stop. So we've got some positive things going, lots of victories. A lot of victories Randy dug into. And Jay and Bud, anybody else out there listening, CPS questions should be, anybody's got a CPS issue, go to Randy. He's the man. He's been there, he's lived it, he's fought it, he's won. So it's just it's something. So, and everyone who's called in tonight, thank you. I'm going to shut up a little bit. Like I said a little bit. I'm not going to go into a lot of details about anything, but I don't have to. It's there. If you want to find me, Google Neil Shelton, growing up Mayberry. You'll get an earful, an eyeful. So I said my piece. I wanted to give Bud the opportunity to share a victory. Jay, that's wonderful. Y'all coming on here, the documentaries, huge Randy with the FERPA. Nothing but good stuff, y'all. So anybody else got anything you want to talk about real quick?
Well, if I could, but I just want to say thank you and good night to everybody.
Thank you, Bud.
Yeah, to my man, Mighty Moss, people might not know this. We haven't spoken today. It's been so busy. I know on his end, he's been poor tomorrow, and mine it's been overwhelming, the support, and thank you to everybody, and spin stuff out there, and I ain't going nowhere. I've only gotten stronger, which means you guys have only gotten stronger. It's not over to the States over. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. Love you both, and obviously, my man, Jay Money Moss. Love that to the end.
Thanks.
You, bro.
Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I'll say real quick here, I want to definitely give a shout out to everybody who contributed to a Fund for PayPal for me, because that's huge going into tomorrow. We'll be able to pay the purge and do what we need to do to start getting this on the right foot.
That's right.
Unfortunately, you got to do what you got to do and bite the bullet a little bit on that. And I know so much of the people out here that are going through the silver bullet technique and how that's arranged, and my heart goes out to you because I've been there. But keep with it. Keep at it. Don't ever give up. No matter if I win my case or not, I'm not going away either. This is, when we signed up for this, or when we were, let's say, drafted for this.
Yeah, right.
We didn't have a choice.
We didn't choose this.
We didn't choose it.
My friend.
Yeah, it chose us, and you chose the wrong person because in this fight, you've got us, and you've got the people who are not going to go away. We're not going to go silently into the night. We're going to come.
We're like herpes.
Demanding our rights. Yep.
We're like herpes. We keep coming back.
Here you go. And irritate. Don't forget to irritate.
That's right.
Well, keep on keeping on. That's all we got to do is keep on keeping on, and we'll eventually be heard. Well, thank y'all both for calling in so much. I certainly do appreciate it. I've got a few more callers. I think they're local guys. I'm going to bring them on from back home. One of them's running for office, so I'm going to let him get some political stuff in here quick. But thank y'all. I know if you're busy, if you got something to do, go ahead and do it. I want to talk to Alan for a minute, and then we're going to wrap it up. But thank y'all so much for being on Straight Out of Mayberry, and let me know if there's anything y'all need. And I think I'll come back. I've got the face for radio. So we'll see. I think I might come back. So anyway,
I enjoy it. Definitely a fun show. I said to my wife, "This is fun. This is fun." Tune in Tuesday night, approximately 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Tune in. We'll be giving you guys a shout out Tuesday. And myself, Jay Moss, Jesse Warner, Peter, love you guys. Chins up.
All right. Thank y'all, brothers. All right. Randy, you still with me?
Yeah, man. I'm right here and ready to hear the commissioner.
Yeah, let's see what we got going on here. Who do we have calling in now?
We have Mr. Alan Poindexter, the next representative, Sarah County, North Carolina.
There you go, and you are calling from Mayberry. Okay, so what's going on, Poindexter? How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing very well. I hope you and Randy are as well.
We are. We've just sharing some victories and planning strategies on future victories, and I hope you're doing the same thing. So you don't know that Alan Poindexter, he's from Surrey County, North Carolina, better known as Mayberry. It's also known as Mount Airy, North Carolina, is running for state representative for the area. Alan has also went through the family court battles, and he knows the pain and separation that causes. And I'm hoping that that's one of your platforms. What are you thinking, Alan?
Yes, sir. That's my main priority is keeping our children safe and protected, and I'm bringing it out to a lot of people, and she's getting a lot of heat. My opponent's getting a lot of heat, which obviously you know who my opponent is, Miss Sarah Stevens, and she's feeling the heat because of go ahead.
Where she's from, she should be used to the heat. I mean, anyway, go ahead.
Well, I was just saying, but she's feeling the heat because she does not like the fact that I'm bringing some of the things that she's voted on. And I got word today from Speaker Tim Moore's office today that they're going to have a special session when they start in January that nobody can, that no civilian, as they call it, can sue or have a civil lawsuit against, a representative that's in office at the time, and they're trying to get that to be pushed into law, try to do it in the next session before obviously next election coming up in May. And I think they're feeling some heat because, like I said, I'm exposed to her on things that she's done to you as well as to other people, and the people are coming out of the woodwork, not only what you've exposed her with, but it's just, she's feeling the heat. All I can say is she's going to feel the heat, and
it's time.
She's not, I'm not going to say she's going to win, and I'm not going to say she's going to lose, but I'll say it this way. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying that, I'm like you. I might win this election, I might lose the election, but I'll consider myself a winner because I've made friends and people's seeing the true colors of how she really is. And
there you go. Raising awareness. That's all it is. Right. But now, and she'll trash you, bash you, whatever. And I know you, Alan, and you're a lot like me. So for all of our Yankee listeners or anybody past whatever state it is, when you hear Alan talk, just because he sounds like Forrest Gump, don't mean he's stupid. Well, not that stupid anyway. So don't mean he's stupid. He's got some good ideas, and his biggest idea is transparency, and he just wants it to be what it should be. So, you got my support. I don't live there, so, it's not like I can mail in a vote from Alaska, but you got my support. And I know that you're fundamentally, in your heart, you're doing this for the right reasons. And I know that if you got elected, you would annoy enough people to where some stuff probably could happen, because I just know that's how you are. So I applaud you for stepping up. I'm not going to bash your opponent. I don't have to. Her actions speak for themselves. So people don't need to twist that when Alan says he's bringing a lot. He's just showing the facts. And we've got enough facts. And if you don't think we got facts, my lawsuit was 127 pages, and the exhibits ended up being just shy of 900 pages. Those exhibits are court documents. Those are their words. Those are their paperwork. Those are their handiwork, not mine. So I think we got them. My last lawsuit was about 15 pages long. This one right now, and we're getting ready to send 500 pages of production. I've got 3,000 pages of possible exhibits. But it is what it is. And I know they want to say that I'm doing this, doing that, and the other. Well, they shouldn't have done what they did to me. She shouldn't have done the same thing to countless of others. And I think that I will say this: if we do make it to a jury, I can't wait till I get that little girl up on stage who was underage and was coached by a certain attorney to say that her daddy touched her inappropriately, this, that, and the other, when she was a young child, lost contact with him for years, and then now was willing to come forward and say all that was a lie. She was coached to say all that to win the divorce, to get the custody for the mama. She had nothing to do with her daddy growing up. Now shoes on the other foot. Don't have nothing to do with her mama. And I hate that, because, if I got my kids back today, that's still their mama. I'd want them to see her, talk to her, do whatever with her, because I'm not an evil person. I love my kids more than I dislike others. But Poindexter, I appreciate what you're doing. I know, a lot of people don't understand, but when you throw your hat into the ring and that small of an area and everything else, it's a lot of headache. So you're taking on a lot of headache for really not a lot of reason other than trying to truly help the community. You have no special interests. There's nothing underlying about you. And with Sarah Stevens, there again, being the Speaker of the House pro tempore, it's funny, when my lawyers did the Intellis reports, it comes back up that she's employed by LabCorp. Now, how is the leader of the House of Representatives employed by a company who sells services to the state and to the counties? I don't know. That might be a good question to ask somebody. And another thing, just looking through a couple of the dockets that I see real quick, I see an upcoming case in Surrey County. I won't mention any names other than the attorneys. Well, I see Sarah Stevens is representing the wife. And it looks like Gretchen Holler Kirkman is representing the husband. My question to the married couple is, did anybody bother to tell you that they're former law partners? Or did the fact that Gretchen's running for a judge and Sarah Stevens writes the judge's, basically writes the law, and as pro tempore is the judge's boss, for lack of a better term.
Well, there was honestly, in mediation this past week.
Yeah, well, that's not ethical. They were law partners, and the whole politician. But I tell you, Alan, and I want you to bring this up if you make it there, and I hope you do. And I think people want to change, so you have a chance. But my thing, and it should be written in stone. And I'm talking back. By the way, you're talking about Sarah. Okay, well, you can verify this. The bar, I complained to them 3 times. This is the first time they responded back. I've sent them information 3 times now for them, Sarah, Zach, Ricky Bowman. So the head players in Surrey County, all of them are being investigated. And guess what? The Ethics Commission, I never knew about them until the other day. Now I do. They handle all those people. Now they're going to jump into it because they were breathless when I got off the phone with them. And that comes back to what Bud and Jay and Randy and everybody, and you too, you're not going to stop fighting until you see change. We don't stop. And I'm not going to stop. I'm not. I'm just getting started. I'm just figuring out how to do this. And it's coming. And some people have seen some of the stuff, and what I've got is undeniable. I'm not being cocky, just stating the evidence and the truth. So we'll see what happens. If I lose in this venue, remember my ultimate goal is to get to federal court. To get to federal court, I got to cross a bunch of X's off in state court, and unfortunately, because this was an unresolved matter. But I won't hold back and hide from anybody saying that this is going to end up in federal court. The lawsuit that I filed and dismissed before this one's getting ready to come back to federal court. The only difference now is I know what happened. Ricky Bowman, head DA Ricky Bowman, you and Hugh Campbell should be pretty scared. I'll just leave it at that. I know what you did. Ted Ashby, Surrey Bank and Trust? Yeah. Okay. And those are not threats, because I'm just saying, I'm suing your ass. Public notice. I've put you on public notice before, but this is public notice. I am suing your ass as an individual, because when you broke the law and did illegal things to me, that was out of the scope of your office. And then I'm suing your office for the liability. And by the way, all these other callers, there is no immunity. They said immunity. Somebody said immunity earlier. A judge has a bond. A bond is in case liability. So therefore, no, there ain't no immunity. Fraud upon the court erases all immunity. So I don't want to hear that no more. Somebody says immunity. That's not true. So anyway, Poindexter, thank you for calling in. I want you to, I want you to win. You get out there and push hard. I think family law reform. You should get up with Dustin Long. He's over the North Carolina Fathers' Rights Movement. Reach out to them. Speak with them some. And I think even more important piece of legislation is that I don't think a state representative, if they want to continue practicing as an attorney, I don't think they should be able to perform any type of litigation against any of their constituents. And it's pretty much worded that way right now. I think I sent that to you, Alan, the thing from Speaker Moore about one of his roles. So Sarah's actually, it's illegal for her to walk into a courtroom. That letter that I sent you the other day that points it out for the statutes and everything, she cannot do a law case. She can't. So, and that's something that's got to be addressed, and I think they're going to have to put it in, because I called another one of the state representatives, and I asked him about it, and he gave me a vague answer. Then I hung up and Googled him, and hell, he's a lawyer too, so he's making money too. So we need to we need to limit these people, because and I'll say this, Sarah Stevens is the biggest crook that's ever walked the face of this earth. She is the devil reincarnated. I mean, hey, that's my view. Of course, she put me in jail and all this bad stuff she did to me. If she wants to sue me, that's fine. I'm not talking about her being a lawyer. I'm talking about her being a politician. So everybody's talking shit about Trump, Obama, and everybody else. Y'all need to sit in too. Which, by the way, Sarah, you've threatened to sue me 3 times now and never have, because you know if you sue me, you're going to sue me for telling the truth? So good luck to everybody. I got a little sour and twisted there at the end, and I'm sorry. It's been a good show. But I really look forward to the day where I don't have to think about this. And that won't ever come, because I'll still be involved too. But I look forward to the day to where maybe this whole movement's unnecessary, because this show was unnecessary and everything we're going through is. But Poindexter, thank you for calling in. You got my support, brother. If you need anything, you let me know. Go out there and knock them dead. Randy, thank you for being with us. It's been a good show. I think we got us a good guest for this next show, Randy. We're going to have to jump all over that one probably. So anyway, I think we got some good things happening. So, but anyway, everybody called in. Yaya, Jay, Bud, Ted's been on here from the minute one, and I've unmuted him from the very beginning of the show, but it's not letting him speak.
You guys
anyway,
can hear
Ted's been on here all day. So anyway, to everybody, thank you for tuning in tonight.
You're welcome.
And I want to just tell you, we will be back. We'll get our schedule straightened out. Pardon how rusty I was tonight, because it has been a while, and then here I am, been talking for 45 minutes. So anyway, I want to dedicate this song as we go out to all the crooked divorce attorneys and exes out there. Everybody have a good night, and thank you for joining us as we came straight out of Mayberry.
All right, I might have to
Rev it up.
this if it's not their own.
All right, right now we'd like to do one for all the fellas out here tonight. Where's my brothers at?
I think
here
we're going to be
tonight?
okay. I'm not sure.
Assalamu alaikum, my brother.
I'd hate it for it to get deleted if it's copyrighted
It's
music.
for all you fellas out there that's ever been done wrong. It's a little song called Forget You.
I don't know if it's copyrighted. I'm just going to let it go. I'll edit it out later if the show gets deleted. Thanks for watching. I don't know. Is it cover considered copyrighted?
That old man ain't get you there. See the next box, I'm all tiring. But the way you play your game ain't fair. I bet it's I'm all in love with you. Oh, Jesus, go figure. Well, we're talking so white feather. I got some news for you. Won't you run and tell you this? See you running round the town with a girl I love. I like to get you. Well, changing my pocket wasn't enough. Now I could get you and forget her too. Said if I was richer, I'd still be with you. Ain't that some shit? Well, raising my chest, but I do it to the best. With forget you. And I know I had borrowed, begging, stealing, lying, cheat, trying to keep you. Trying to lead you. Cause it was your little country, but I ain't cheap. I bet it's fall in love with you. Oh, Jesus, go bigger. Well, just start to get all that color. I got to do for you. I can't stand you guys. See you running around the town with a girl I love. I might forget you. Well, turning my pocket wasn't enough. I might forget you and forget her too. But if I was richer, still be with you. Ain't that shit? With a pain in my chest, I do wish you the best. With a forget you. Well, baby, 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 why you gonna hurt me so bad, so bad, so bad, so bad? I tried to tell my mama, but she told me this is one for your dad, your dad, your dad, your dad. Why, lady? Oh, I love you. Oh, I still love you. I see you running town with a girl I love. Now I go get you. Well, it's changing my pocket wasn't enough. Now I go get you and forget her too. Said if I was richer, I'd still be with you. With a pain in my chest, I think we were the best with the forget you.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.